This conference will now be recorded.
Well, do you want to start? Do you want to wait in case Danny shows up or not? All right, let's call the meeting to order. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
That I'm aware of, unless there's a spelling mistake.
If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded. Sarah?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion's adopted. Agenda's adopted, excuse me. Minutes from April 21st.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I will second that motion. All in favor say aye. Sarah?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Aye. For myself. Okay, monthly financial reports. Dylan, want to go through that for us?
I've been told that everything is pretty normal. Everything was paid with council bills. We do have two that you need to sign today before the end, and those will be on next month's financial sheet. But
Did we end up with two this month? Just missed it last month? Is that it?
Kim said it was the way the days fell. So one of them is from March that was paid in the beginning of April. I'm trying to recall this conversation now from a little bit ago. And then one of them is for April, just the way the days fell. Otherwise, I'll take that every month.
Yeah, you got paid twice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
If you want to.
The first month bonus. All right, any questions? Comments? If not, I will make a motion. We approve the accounts payable. Is there a second?
Oh, go ahead.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye. Sarah?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
And Rich? Aye. Moving on, public hearings, none. I'm assuming old business, visitors guide.
Yes. So last month I reported that we just started receiving the visitors guides. And then since then, we've been trying to get rid of them. We've been figuring out plans. So I've attached in some of the supplemental material, some of the ideas that we've been talking about as far as trying to plan logistics around some trips. What I tried to do is find things like visitor centers or chambers of commerce, or I mean, one of the other things I thought about is rest stops, because those will, be a good place to drop some off. But it's just time consuming because the boxes are heavy. It's not like we can just mail these without probably a pretty big expense. So this is just an example of an update for the visitors guides as far as some of the trips that are planned. So with that said, if anybody is ever taking one of these trips or need help finding information on where to bring them or drop them off, or a contact person, I can help them with that. Otherwise, I'll have to start booking some of my days to do some of these, because they're not short trips. They'll take some time, but that's probably what's needed.
And I suppose this is the time of year you really want to get them out. People are going to start traveling.
Yeah.
Dylan, I can take trip 3 if you want, but my family's farm is right down there, just south of Preston. So I can do that route and hit Lanesboro and Harmony at the same time.
Okay. One of the things I was thinking of is either I or the volunteer could reach out to the emails. That's why I tried putting in an email column, just so they know they're coming, and hopefully they can tell us a number to request. Because I don't want to ever bombard someone with too many visitors guides, and I don't want to not have enough as well. So
Well,
that's
they
the only,
all those locations have really nice visitor centers
okay,
and,
if you're
and,
familiar.
yep, in those communities.
So I'll give you every box I have.
Nope, just one.
Okay,
And then we will look into shipping too, because there's some of these that have been requested that.
They're
Yeah,
fine.
so, but that's gonna be, those boxes are heavy, so I don't know what that's gonna cost.
I just had one thought, Ron or Steve Johnson has guys going all over to pick up and drop off covers. They're mostly retired guys. I wonder if they would take some where they're going, because they go all over the place.
That's true. And they're they could possibly hit a lot of, rest stops, the ones along the interstates.
No, they drive all over.
I don't know
Yeah.
that they stop.
Yeah, no,
Right,
they're-
but I mean, I
they're-
wonder if we could talk to Steve and,
Yeah.
asked him if this could be something that they could help with. I'm pretty sure he would,
yeah. I can,
because I was thinking of them, like Ron goes all over the place. So,
I mean, all those good ideas are the types of things we need just because there's so many of them. And the other thing I was thinking about is just because I'm mapping these out to one point, like in Chamber of Commerce or City Hall or something, doesn't mean there's not a second one in town. Because Rochester should be its own trip because you have everything from their visitor centers to their chambers, to their city halls, to the Mayo, to, those international places that they have near the
Right.
airport. I mean, that's a big one by itself for a lot of visitors guides. So that should be its own trip. But I can reach out to Steve Johnson to ask about his.
I'm just thinking for greater Minnesota, because they drive all over. So maybe they could, if you mapped it out, you got to stop at this rest stop and drop this off. I bet they would.
That was one thing I was trying to look for as far as rest stops go, is if there was a map, like a, universal one instead of just
Trying to find them,
Is it
yeah.
Googling one and then putting it on the map, Googling the other, putting it on the map. But yeah, that's a good idea though.
The DOT, they must have a location of all the rest stops in the state, don't they?
They do, but then it's not everyone. Because I was starting to dive into it, but this one was easier to start with. But I still got to spend some time to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, all those types of places are some of the things we're aiming for, just to get them out there.
Plus, I would think if you say went to one of these towns and you went to the city hall or wherever and you said, is there anywhere else in your town that you think would benefit from these? You could kind of get another branch off of each location that you've got listed already. So
I agree that for trip 2, for example, Goodhue's missed, but I spoke with a council member there and they said, just bring it to them and they'll distribute it, which is nice.
Yeah.
So there's things like that as well.
But we'll get them out quickly here, because, it's getting to that time where we want them out there.
Vacationing and, traveling on the highways. That's the other thing. I want to hit as many towns along highways, because I mean, it's like I have no problem, bringing visitors guides to Wanamingo, for example, but that's close to us and not on a highway. Or, I mean, like Mazeppa and Zumbro Falls. I don't know how big Zumbro Falls is, but I think it's only a couple hundred people. So I'm trying to hit, the bigger ones first and see where we're at along highways.
And another one to really consider, Dylan, is to go south on the river. So like Wabasha, Winona, St. Charles.
Yep.
Maybe even La Crosse.
I know I thought about that just because that'd be a pretty drive. So maybe I'd do that one, but
Yeah.
no,
That's the Wine River Trail. Maybe Judy and I can do that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. And really come up the Wisconsin side where they have lots of spots to drop those.
well, I was thinking that too, if you, went from Red Wing on the Wisconsin side, there's
Right.
a lot of towns all along there, Pepin and Maiden Rock and
Yep.
I mean, all the, you know, these are just 3 examples. I didn't want to have the biggest packet or anything, but I mean, there's endless possibilities of, you know, trips that could be taken. It's either time consuming for myself or Brian, or we get volunteers to, anybody's going on a trip or just in the area. So yeah, that is my visitor's guide update for this month.
All right, good. Anything else on that? All right, B, new business ownership recognition and awards. We talked about this last month. I don't know if we got any further or you guys got any further.
Yeah, this one kind of ties in with the reports for the active business list. One of the things I wanted to find out was if there was any new businesses that were maybe missed, you know, in last year being the pandemic and things like that. What I could not find from the active business list is when they were started, the businesses were started. So I'm unfamiliar with any new businesses that maybe have not been recognized, or we can at least put on a list to recognize. But I think it's one of those things as far as an update that we know of some upcoming businesses that will, you know, be opening. So those should be on a list for potential, you know, down the line, however many months after getting recognized or award or plaque, something of that nature. So it's one of those things that I think we'll keep an eye on.
And then, go ahead.
Oh, add Vault 224, because that's the game store.
Volt 224.
It'll be opening soon.
Just the game store portion. Restaurant will follow up after.
Yeah, we got a lot of work there, but.
Should have asked for a tour yesterday when I walked by.
Oh, you could have. Anytime. It's not much to look at now.
I suppose it's all. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. Oh, so when these new businesses open, should we be doing a, you know, grand opening type thing with all of them? Or, you know, I've seen pictures of ribbon cuttings before. I don't know how we pick and choose, or if we do every new business that opens, or how have we done that in the past?
When I opened, somebody just came
Yeah. it
and
was just-
visited and
you know,
congratulated us and gave us a plaque.
Brought a plaque,
Welcome to town.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all
No
it was.
ribbon cutting or anything.
So, yeah, unless it's a 57 unit apartment building.
Right. I don't think any, you know, people just don't have time for that either to.
I don't think it would hurt to, you know, even if you, you know, didn't have a ribbon cutting, but I mean, if you got a picture in the paper, you know, with some city representation, and wouldn't have to be the mayor and everybody and stuff, you know, but at least it lets people know that it's there. And because I don't know, have we ever done anything with, I can't remember the name now, the one in the corner, the old Coast to Coast.
Dwell?
Dwell, yeah. I mean, that one, I don't know if it's a dress shop next to it, in between that one and, yeah, we haven't done anything with that.
He got his plaque, what, a year late, 2 years late?
But I don't know about the Chubby Sheep.
Chubby Sheep, Old Soul. Did Charisse ever get one at Old
That's a
Soul?
good question. I don't know.
What about, did I see something about a spa opening up on,
Tranquility Barn?
yeah,
I didn't know what it was called. I just put salon in there just to name some
It's like
examples.
Tranquility Barn.
Tranquility Barn.
and what else?
Well, and that's one of the things Dylan's working on too, is a more comprehensive, up-to-date business list. You know, maybe we can put opening dates on there too, just so we know how long they've been around. And
Even, you know, I know there was something in the paper, but, you know, change of ownership. You know, a lot of us long-established businesses in town, Busby's, Grover's, you know, there was something in the paper about them changing ownership, but I mean, you know, that too, I don't know if we necessarily have to give them a plaque, but at least some recognition and people know that things are changing.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe this is the wrong time to bring it up, but have we heard anything from Steve Johnson as far as the detailing place? At one time, he was going to be building new again, right?
he is.
He still is.
It started, isn't it?
Moving along quickly, yes. Actually need to talk to him. Have you talked to him? Since we,
Last week. You got his permits on it.
oh, okay, you did, yeah, so we were talking
Where
about
is
that. He
that
was
going?
just going like crazy without permits, so. And up behind Neats, or behind the veterinary, way back there.
375
Right across
Second
from
Street.
where the Chrysler building is.
Oh, okay.
It's 122nd on the southwest corner.
Was he gonna ask for assistance?
He did. And he was given an application. This was about 2 months ago, but it never came back.
Okay.
That's the last I heard too, so I was just kind of curious, but. Okay. Anything else, guys? New business, oath of officer. I guess we'll have to wait on that again. Business subsidy policy.
Yes. This one, in the past couple of weeks, I discovered that there's some updates needed to our business subsidy policy application, the policy itself, and the agreement, just because there's outdated information. Like, for example, Job Z hasn't been around since 2019, and half of our policy packet details Job Z business subsidies. And just to be compliant with the statutes, I don't know where to start, so I haven't really looked into it, as too much, but it's one of the things that I'm working with Ron Ziegler with, because he's quite familiar. He's the county EDA head. And so I just wanted to give an update that there'll be some updates to some things just to get us up to date. But that's the other thing. I think, when I sent the Steve Johnson application out 2 months ago, it just has outdated information on it. So that is my update for that.
So once those are ready to go, you'll bring those here to
Yeah.
have a look at them.
The application, but for the agreement and the policy, that's probably something that after I bring here, does that get approved by council or something? Is that anything huge like that? Or is it?
Yeah, I would think if we're
I
changing
would.
policies, yeah,
I would think so.
yeah, it's,
We'd recommend that they approve it and then.
Yeah, before it's, yeah. That's what I figured. So that's why I'm more timid to start just going in there and delete Job Z without
Well, if it's
consulting.
not relevant anymore. that's
I know,
okay.
but is there something else that it should be replaced? I don't know if there's a new one that's came out since Job Z died or, something like that.
that'll be the thing. There's all kinds of different opportunities
Oh,
out
Ron will
there.
know that.
Yeah.
So that's, I shot him an email and he got back to me today.
One of the things Dylan's very interested in is getting all this information out to businesses and what's available. New businesses, what can you tap into to help coming into town, things like that. So
That's good.
along those lines, the city is going to be receiving about $398,000 and some change from the federal government for this ARP, American Rescue Plan. And part of the big focus on that is, stimulating the economy, local economy, which means new business starts, things like that. A lot of housing stuff, keeping people in their houses, helping them fix up things like that. But as far as EDA is concerned, I could see that money would be
Yeah, more money
available. Yeah, to
That's okay.
for
I need
starts,
money.
for, yeah.
After talking to
and
the
for
architect
businesses.
yesterday.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, no, just that too. I mean, that actually would fall into this because anything and everything that's got to do with providing jobs,
After talking to the architect
rehiring
yesterday
people,
in our building.
bringing people into the community,
it's always more than.
all of that falls into
It's just always-
this dollars, this lump of dollars. So
Would that be something that could be used for land purchases?
possibly, yep, land purchases, land improvements. If we've got a difficult piece of land that hasn't been built on because it's cost so much to grade it or get the utilities there, we can use money for
To
that.
get it shovel ready.
Yeah, and the county is wanting to partner as well. So some of those type of things, those bigger type of things, they want to kick in part or half, and we would kick in half, and all of a sudden we've got a lot that's been empty for a long time. Kind of like the Grover lot was empty for a long time. We did some things to facilitate getting someone in there, that type of a deal. Only we've got this chunk of money that we can use, and this money goes over 4 years as well. So we've got till December 31st of 2025 or whatever to spend it. But I could see this being EDA being a big part of that, as far as getting money out to businesses and
Right.
so.
So it can be really strategic this time versus the last one where we were just trying to figure out what would qualify.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that's good. I think that will be super beneficial.
Yep, I envision this one going into the community more rather than just a lot of ramping up to be able to function if we're shut down as a government. A lot of these dollars will be going out. So more to come on that. We're not sure what it's going to look like yet as far as how we're going to do it, but I would imagine that EDA is going to be involved in some way.
Okay. All right. Reports, update. Dylan, Zimbrota Apartments.
Yeah, just an update. Since the last meeting, there was the groundbreaking on the May 3rd that, some of us were a part of. It was at the groundbreaking that they mentioned the name, Town Center. I believe it was. I was trying to recall. I was like, it wasn't City Center. It was Town Center. But Town Center Apartments is what it's going to be named. So that, I remember now that I'm saying it out loud, the paper was wondering what the name of it was.
Yep, they had it right.
They got it right?
Yep.
Okay.
Because she asked him, does it have a fancy E on the end?
Yeah, that's what I.
Center with an E?
Oh.
And he said, no.
A couple
We're not
days
fancy.
Later, emailed Miranda, I should say, but.
Yep.
And then just to cap off that update, they're still interested in other opportunities within the area. So we've showed them potential sites and got them information. And I know they have a few projects that they're working on right now in other surrounding cities and interested in other cities close. So they are interested in the area.
Good. Encouraging. It's nice to see work on there after how many years?
Yeah, I don't know how many complaints you've gotten, but I've gotten a call. The noise.
Good. It's going to be noisy because they're putting up 57 apartments. Zip it.
As long as they're within the ordinance from 7 to whatever time.
It was Pastor Jan and they're having
Oh.
a church service on Sunday.
She called here
And
too.
yeah. So she didn't want him to work on Sundays. And I said, you're more than welcome to bring that to a meeting and say it. I said, I don't think you'll get much support because it's not a permanent thing. And they won't be working every Sunday.
Yeah.
And your church service is at noon. They can't wait to work.
Or they may be willing to work with them too. I would think they would be,
Well,
maybe it's lunchtime at noon, they take a lunch
Maybe.
and knock off for an hour or whatever. So
They're really going to work on Sundays?
I didn't know they were down there on Sunday, yeah.
No,
But
the plan.
I mean, I'm only like 3 houses away. I didn't hear him at all.
Yeah.
So I don't, I said, I'm sorry, Jan, I know it's an inconvenience, but it's also really good for the town and we need to get it done and,
Yeah.
so.
She called in to City Hall here, I believe this was last Friday as well, and I had a similar conversation to where she requested ordinance being changed because she doesn't like the rules as far as the, 7 to 10. And I told her, the way to do it, but it's most likely not going to happen because like you said, it's temporary. This isn't a permanent thing. This is only going to last a year. And then she requested that if they work on Sundays, which I told her that they're planning not to. No one plans to work on weekends when you're hiring that many people for work, but they only have to if they get rained out or they're meeting a deadline. She requested that they work after 1 p.m. on Sundays, which I told her I'd write all that down and I talked to the site superintendent and he said if they're working on Sundays, they're going to work from 7 to 3.
Right. I mean,
But he's
that's what I
gonna go
told her. I
talk to
said,
her.
that's not feasible. I said,
Yep.
it's just not. So.
So he was going to go chat with her again because he spoke with her the first time and they have good things to say about each other, but she's just concerned for her church service. But
Yeah, I just said,
and the site superintendent, Robbie, he is very good.
she's
Very concerned about
very
the
nice.
community and
Yeah, very, very nice. But I said, yep, I get it, but you can come to the meeting, but I doubt you'll get any support for it, Jan. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah, not for an ordinance change for sure.
No.
millions of dollars of development.
Yeah, well,
Do you look at the Sunday hours?
I know that
We gotta make sure they can start at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm not sure on a Sunday they can.
I said I offhand, I
That
didn't
won't help
remember
the
what the
noon.
ordinance said. In fact, I thought it was 9 on Sundays.
I think it
but
might be, yeah, because that won't help the noon thing, but
No, but I thought that it was 9 on the weekends,
I think,
but I'm not sure.
well, anyway, we'll check the ordinance. Make sure.
You hear us? Should probably sleep in. But
Well, You're gonna get in trouble for that one.
I was gonna say, because it was me and her looking at the ordinances for him, and then we got him the ordinances and then got him an updated version because the weekends are different than the week. So there is something. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah, you might want to check on that anyway. It just seemed to me that, I mean, I haven't read them for a long time, but
Yeah, I never opened up that ordinance book.
Typically Sunday is different.
Okay,
Active business list, is this kind of something we've already talked about or?
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize you had that on here.
Yeah, we just touched on it a little bit. Because it kind of goes hand in hand with the new business. It was spurred on by the conversation we had last month. So one of the things I wanted to do since I've gotten here is have an inventory list of all the active businesses. And then it just hit me like Secretary of State should technically have that. So I reached out to the Secretary of State and I've been working with them, talking with them on a weekly basis. And I have an active business list that's not up to date is how I'll say it. Because they have some businesses that, for example, my place of residence is registered as a business. So that's not an active business. I'm not doing much there. But they at least have some of the places, even if it's somebody working out of their home, a list. So it's just refining that now. But I knew that was going to take some time. So I'm glad they at least were able to send over what they have registered.
I think the upstairs of your place is an active business. It's the home inspection place.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but then it does say 446 1/2 Pearl, and it's called
Oh, okay.
something like Tranquility or something, and it's not me,
You're not doing massages or
No.
anything down there?
not yet. But yeah, I mean, it's good to have at least a mostly accurate list, but the one thing I wish it would have had is, business inception, but I don't think they have that. I mean, you'd think they would when they first get it, but it didn't have it on the Excel. The Excel had 550,000 lines of businesses, so they couldn't just send me Zimbrota. They sent me like everything it seemed like, but we have 438 active businesses, but we don't have that many. So,
Well, you got the list. You can see which ones you could bring to town now.
yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking about that when we were talking about the apartment building too, and you said they were looking at other towns, just say, no, you're ours now.
That's what I told them at the groundbreaking. But no, you don't.
And Falls, you stay
You
here.
stay here.
We'll knock people's houses down so you can build something. No.
Don't put that in minutes, Miranda.
Miranda, don't put that in the minutes. Okay, anything else on that?
I do have a question when we're talking about land. Are we familiar with the EDA owned lot on 22nd? There's actually two of them.
Point me to where 22nd is.
Business park.
Business
park,
park.
Yes, then yes.
There's two EDA-owned pieces of land. One of them has a non-conforming easement for tier 1 water, which makes it not usable, but it's a good piece of land. And then the other one's a real nice piece of land. My next question was going to be, has there ever been interest in it over the years?
Yeah, big.
Yeah, he wanted to build storage units there.
Oh,
And we tried to steer him away from it because it is a nice piece of land and we could get
Yeah.
more active business there with employees,
Yep.
He wanted it for nothing.
Right, that too.
I guess I don't know what to tell you. I'm not sure I know where they are or.
I thought someone else was looking at it, but it wasn't big enough.
Is that a recycling place?
I think the recycling place Ryan tried to steer them there, looking at that at one point. I think there's been different things, even since I've been here, that have been talked about, but it is listed. I get calls from realtors or listing places for commercial property, and they check in once in a while to make sure they're still available, and yep.
That was another thing I have been working on is I have a list of all publicly owned land in the city lines, whether it's the EDA or the city or any type of nonprofit that even owns land within our city. And the one out there is quite nice. The EDA owned land, that's probably the best one that we have. So I was just interested.
The one lot is really nice and the other one is, what'd you say, unusable?
So tier 1 has an easement that it's not approved that goes through the land to get to their water company. So if that land was developed, the driveway would have to be moved and the easement would have to be given to them. And then it would be smaller then. It's not a bad piece of land, but you usually don't have industrial in front of industrial and industrial to get to industrial going over industrial. But it's a decent piece of land if tier 1 wasn't there. Tier 1 kind of took city land, I'm guessing city land and EDA land, and then built in the middle and they use it all. So they don't have the best site coverage.
Would a towing business fit out there?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would love to talk to Mr. Markham next door here and just say, we've got a spot, if we could put something together for him. Very attractive out there.
Is this gentleman right?
Yeah. He's not wanting to move and I can't blame him. He's but for the city, I think that spot is phenomenal, especially right now, right by the river. We'd have to put something together that's very attractive. You talked about giving land, wanting land for nothing. That would be absolutely part of it.
Right.
But it might be worth it for us to have this chunk right here to market at some point, if he'd be willing to do that. I don't know. I've heard over the years he has no interest in doing that, but.
Well,
Excuse me.
my recollection was that he was not necessarily approached in the right manner the first time. And I think it kind of, pissed some people off.
Sure.
And so, maybe he's more receptive and it would be handled differently and better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I agree with you. I think that's, it's a viable business. It's a good business and it seems like it's successful, but it's kind of in my estimation, an eyesore as you come into town from that direction.
And there's not enough room. He's got a lot of cars down at Jay's place, Falk Auto down there, and Jay is going to expand. So I don't know how much of that is going to be still available to him.
And we
So
talked about not letting him park in the public parking
Yes.
anymore either because he's taking advantage of it. Cars sit there for months, not
has
a
that
couple days, and it's not okay.
Has that gotten better? Because I know Todd
No.
spoke to him. Okay.
Which public park?
Right across from me, we said he could put a few cars there. Well, and I was gonna say something, but I didn't, but Larry came to me because he's not moving them, so they can't plow. And that's the issue. But it is, it always looks like we have 50 million people at the bar. And it's not, it's all these, it's trucks that they're fixing. There's this one pickup that sits in there. I think it's been there for 6 months.
Okay.
Just sitting there. And I don't
Yeah.
know, that's not okay.
I would think he'd be more comfortable having a spot that he can, put all these cars and have it fenced in. And
Right, and have some security too.
Yeah, but he's got a paid for building and a spot. And so
Right.
to ask him to move to a new spot and build a building and, we're going to have to do some things for him.
Is the building, because that's the most expensive piece.
Yep.
Most businesses can't afford a new building, but we could package together waiving fees for things. I think it would be one of those things where he should be contacted. I can go over there, you can go over there, we both go over there for like 1 or 2 times a month and then hit him with a proposal of, hey, we were thinking of you type of deal.
I think that's a good idea. And I think, I don't know if you need direction from this board, but I would say reach out to him, first, even before you put any packages together, just have a friendly conversation and say, would you ever consider, I know, whatever, maybe don't even bring up the past, but say, we'd like to work with you. And before we start putting pencil to paper on our end, is there any possibility?
Good, yeah. Yep, I'll do that. I'll get that going. I want to talk about that before we talk about I'll tie in parking cars in different places too, as a reference to, hey, if we could find a spot for you, there's a little more room and you can get everything in one
But he's
spot.
gonna lose both of those probably. So what is he gonna do?
Right, and that'll come up in
mean,
conversation, but
you know.
yes. Yep, so,
Well, that's why I think we have to be careful about what we're giving away because, I mean, he's breaking rules or he's not,
Yep.
following guidelines. So it's like, whether you want to or not, you don't have room here. So either you need to,
oh, yeah. No,
fit your business within there. Because it's like, gosh, I ran out of room where I was. So if I broke enough rules where I was the city going to give me my piece of land? It's like, I think we got to be very careful.
Yeah, just the greater good on this chunk of land right on Main Street, right next to the river,
Right, because this is a piece that we would look to somehow purchase, correct? I mean, that would be the ideal,
purchase or bring a
It's what-
developer, have a developer come in and say, hey, I'd like to put
Right.
a.
but somehow bring it under the wing of the city instead of a private entity.
Yeah,
Or a little different.
to start with, yeah, for sure. Yeah, unless we want to be in the commercial rental business.
Nope,
We would build a little building with 3.
visitor center.
Yeah, oh, yeah. A little canoe shop if we can get a canoe landing down here.
Years, City Hall is going to need to be expanded anyway, and so in the interim, it should be used as co-op spaces for people who are working remote. So I think that would be perfect use for this. Because where else is the room going to go? You know what I mean? In 20 years from now, the city's going to be 1,500 more people. There's going to be 2 or 3 more positions here at City Hall. There's going to be
Over 5,000, then we can access all that road money.
And that's the other thing.
Right, bring them in, please.
Faster, as far as businesses.
That's what I told you that, right? Byron gave away lots to get to the 50,000 or the 500,000.
Mhm.
5,000, Jesus.
500,
So you
yeah.
can get the road money.
Yep. All right, well, we'll get the ball rolling on that and see what we can come up with. And we will take care of the parking in the lot.
I mean, it's fine, but it's not
Well,
fine.
in the
It's
conversation.
fine right now, but Larry, by winter time, he cannot be in there anymore.
Right, yeah.
Because he, the one car that gets left overnight at the bar is different than
Mhm.
5 cars that never move.
Yeah, and that issue is twofold. It's the plowing and that too, but then we're also gonna have another restaurant right down there. And they're all gonna have to park over there because there's not parking anywhere else really. So that lot will be full, hopefully, most nights.
Okay. Couple questions here. Is there any plans for Memorial Day service?
Yes, the mayor's been working with the VFW. They've had 2 or 3 meetings. They're having the parade and the thing out at the cemetery and everything.
Just gonna have a program on the cemetery again?
Yep.
With a marching band?
I don't know. The marching band doesn't exist. I don't know
I heard
about
him
that.
practicing.
I can,
Are they? Like memorial music or like pep
I'll
band?
be right
music?
back. I'm gonna see if I can find, because we have a,
I don't remember, but
A
I could
brochure.
hear, I could hear
Like,
them
all they're
practicing.
practicing right now is pep band music.
Oh.
Rich, I tell you, these high schoolers were over at my house and I literally played my band CDs for them. I'm like, this is how good we were. It's like a face palm right now.
It is sad because you had such a good,
40 years.
it was so built up and so wonderful and it's just gone. It's dumb because that was awesome. I did it with a broken leg.
Won't get into that. Yeah, I still remember we had to get an extra kit just to push Sarah in her wheelchair. No, not. And this is kind of off the record, but what's the deal with Super America and Dairy Queen?
There was Super America, my understanding is Super America approached Bing for resurfacing the lot. He asked for help from Bing since so many of Bing's customers use it, and he said no. So he put up the fence and said, fine, customers ain't using it, they can use the easement that was created for the property, was my understanding.
I figured there was some sort of headbutting, but
It does work better, I think.
Oh, I think it's terrible for truckers.
Oh, yeah,
I bet.
to get to Dairy Queen, yeah. I
Oh,
suppose.
yeah, totally. Yep, I think it's a big hassle.
But that was built so stupidly and there was never any direction on where to go. At least now there's direction you know,
But people are, people who aren't from town still will go the other direction, realize there is a fence, try and backtrack and can't backtrack to get in the drive-through line.
Plus I've noticed
It's
too, I mean,
very
you have to come,
tight.
you have to come out the same way you go in, which people didn't really do before. So now you've got this, well, wait, where am I and who's,
It's tight to get 3 lines, the outgoing, the drive-through, and the people who actually
that's
want to park or go to Subway.
see, oh yeah, the high school band.
So
Looks nice.
Looks good.
So yeah, there's, and it won't be one-sided, of course. Very, yeah, that's really nice. For sure.
High school band.
And the mayor is the MC, I think, out at the,
So real quick, I sent a chat message, but I'm not sure anybody can see it because it's probably super little on the screen. I have to run my kid to school, so I will see you all later if there's no other business that I.
I think we're good.
Or-
Thank you
Okay,
for
thanks.
coming, Tina.
For sure. Bye.
Okay, are we going to try to, the one last thing, again, we talked about last month, are we going to try to just not even offer online? Say, people come here, or can't we?
soon, pretty soon, we won't be able to do the online, once the emergency orders are gone. They were still working on that process, but once the emergency orders are done, they're still on now, so we can still do online. But once those are done, then these meetings, yeah, will have to be in person again.
Okay.
So, but yeah, for now, we can still offer online if you want to, or we can bring everybody in.
Yeah. Do we, I don't know, having never even met this lady yet, I mean, are we concerned about our new member?
Yeah,
I mean, evidently, was she at the first meeting? Because I was,
Yeah.
or no?
yes, she was at one.
She was at one
I'll
meeting,
talk
the
to her
meeting that
about
I ran, I'm pretty sure she was at.
Yeah, see, she wasn't here in January that's when she was supposed to start. She was at February with you and she hasn't been back since. So she's been, I think, to one meeting. I haven't met her or seen her and I've only missed the February meeting.
I'll ask her about it. But
It sounds like Dave's gonna bow out.
he's been to like 3 meetings, so.
He's just got too many other commitments.
Danny or Dave, but Dave owns a 5-acre lot that I'm interested in knowing more about.
Behind my house, you ain't getting it. Sorry, dream on. Yep. No, it's not on Second.
Second in the highway.
You ain't
There's a
getting
big
it.
piece of land.
Sorry.
What's landlocked?
Yeah.
Landlocked between my house and my business. Sorry, I'll fight you for that one.
And it's all full in, I'm not sure that it would be buildable, would it?
It's not, right now it's listed agriculture. I think it's zoned agriculture, but
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful piece of,
I know, I used to own it.
I'm hoping it's ours in the future.
Yeah, is it totally full of trees?
Nope, we're actually gonna put a pond in there.
You are?
Yeah, Jake and Dave are working on digging a pond and
He doesn't have enough to do?
Dave wants to make it an ice rink,
Oh,
so. And we want the dirt to backfill our property, so.
Doesn't he have a dirt bike track or something back there too, or
No, just a trail,
just a
little
trail?
trail that we'll ride on, but
Yeah, he was talking, he asked about the water tower.
yeah, he
He said
wants
when we
that.
take the water tower down, he wants the top of it.
He wants to put it on that land.
Yeah.
really?
We do not want that water tower to go.
I agree. I think it's symbolic. It's,
Well,
it's,
we could,
The money.
But you can sure try to talk to him.
we could
Why?
decommission it, leave it standing there. I suppose.
But
We
good
could
luck.
decommission it and just leave it standing there.
All these inventory lists.
I don't.
One of the lists I've
think
gotten
we
is
can
private
because
owned
it-
land over a
of the
certain acreage.
liability
So I have
could
a
fall down.
half a list of that too. And I saw Dave's car and I was like, why do I know that name? It's from here, but I've never met him
Start a
before.
trust and start putting
So I
money
have
into it to redo it.
Private owned
Sure.
inventory list of
We're
land.
gonna sandblast that there, not sandblast it. We're gonna
I
power
don't
wash it.
think that's, I mean, you, like I said, you'd certainly approach him. We do have dibs on it.
Yeah, no, you can have that one because it's land. It's too hard
But
to
he
get
will
to,
not,
but
he
it's,
does not ever want to see anything built on that land.
no, most you can do there is housing development. And then you'd have to,
You have to talk to Countryside again to get a road through there, or you gotta come in off the highway,
Or NSP, isn't it?
or DFA. So.
wastewater treatment plant to the north, but there is accessibility to
Wastewater
it.
treatment plant I thought was not happening.
Plus, I don't know if you could do it because you have to have 2 exits.
Development.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Well, you can do a lot of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it depends on the size and how much money you're making from it.
All right, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Yep.
Send the water to us. Yeah.